Hi there guys, and welcome to another Train Sim 2018 video. Today we're doing a scenario by Funky DCZ. Dom, he's very often in my Twitch streams as well. Lovely fella. He's been working on some scenarios along with his new route he's doing as well. I'll come on to that in a bit, or I'm probably actually going to end up doing a separate video for his route. But he's also working with Speedy Pete to do some extra routes. Speedy Pete, of course, is the guy who did the XC route and is currently doing the missing link on the West Coast Main Line. Hopefully I'll have a video of that very soon to show you. So, let's get going. It's a little bit different. It's a little bit nice. Got some 57 traction as well, which I do enjoy. I'm fiddling about some settings, so I'd like a little bit of feedback on that as well. If you guys have noticed anything different, anything new, let me know. So, good morning. Welcome to this Northern Additional service taking you to the Tour de France in Harrogate. Get your cab ready for departure at 10:35, please, driver. Excellent. Let's unpause and get ready for 10:35 then. It's not long away. Right, 57. This does have the AP sound pack installed. And I want some instrument lights and I want daylights. Let's just go and double check. Yep, we're good. This, of course, don't worry about the headlights too much. This is one of Albie's earlier reskins that's not perfect, but it's still pretty good. I'll leave the newspaper up as well for us because that's quite interesting to see. So, of course, the Harriet Loop route is a Vulcan Productions route and it has the beautiful Leeds station. Here we have a nice East Coast service sitting in the platform as well, which is nice to see, and a pacer pulling out there as well. There's a shot from Mole Junction if ever I've seen one. So there's actually some really exciting news to come from Leeds that I can't go into just yet, but I will be able to hopefully in the next couple of weeks. Today's video was also to show this scenario off, but also talk about a little bit of a development that's come through the Flight Sim network. Basically, it's Flight Sim World, some of the forums about Flight Sim World. And this is information that's freely available on the internet, and it is some reviews on DTG's status as an employer as a developer. It comes from a Glassdoor. It's called Glassdoors. I'm guessing it's like a place where developers can rate companies to work for, and it makes for some interesting reading. This, of course, is just, we can't guarantee this definitely came from previous employees of DTG, and I'll state that this is their opinion, this isn't mine. I'll go into mine as we go through, but this is just really, I will read what has been said. And it does make for some very interesting reading. Yeah, some very interesting reading. Whew, right. I'll wait till we're moving before I start. Leave you a bit of anticipation. A little bit of anticipation. This isn't all just negative, by the way, as well. There's some quite good bits in this as well. So, oh, I didn't have the door open. Alan, come on, mate. It should move quite quickly though. That was really silly of me, wasn't it? It means we get to have a look at these wonderful AP Mark IIs, though. Stunning. Stunning. That whistle was clear. It's time to go. This does this sometimes. There we go. Right, okay. So I'll read you what it actually says in the post, and then you guys can make of it what you want, and you can have some lovely background of Funky's scenario to Watch while I talk. So it says here, this is done by an administrator of the forums as well, and the title of it is DTG Employee Speaks Out Apparently. So again, we don't know, this is definitely previous developers of DTG. I'll start with the top one, which is the most recent review. So it says current employee anonymous. They don't recommend it. It's got a negative outlook, but they approve of the CEO. And it says they've been working for Dovetail Games full-time for more than a year. It says the pros of working for DTG are always paid on time, good HR, IT support, good equipment, good working hours, flexi time. And then it gets into the cons. And it says here, depending on what you're working on, it's essentially a conveyor belt production line. Dovetail aim to churn out content to saturate their chosen hobby, be it flight sim, fishing or trains. This leads to rush content and well-known reputation for shoddy work. One of the biggest cons is that it doesn't look like it's going to change. Dovetail are focused on, this is the really interesting term for me, the Dovetail flywheel. This is a concept where a game is created and then the content is created for endlessly. This works in some cases, i.e. Train Sim 2017, but not in others, Flight Sim World. It then says career opportunities localised in Chatham, none in the Scotland office, pay is poor for industry, bonuses are rarely paid, generally low morale amongst staff unless you're a super fanatic for trains. Advice to management, it says here. The aim is to be the #1 simulation company, and then it says here, you can't be that if you only focus on something nobody else is doing. Other companies are overtaking us in quality and value while we rest on our traditional let's churn out low quality content ethos, allowing anonymous suggestions to improve the company and bring concerns like the ones mentioned in this review to light in company meetings. So it sounds like there's a bit of a culture of not being able to speak out, which for me is always pretty dangerous in a business. But again, this is just one person's opinion, and this is, again, we don't know, this is definitely from a DTG dev. The very interesting thing in that, of course, is the Dovetail flywheel. Now, I have heard that mentioned before. That isn't new to me. I think this was actually spoken about in some of their account stuff and some of their investor stuff as well, some of their investor packs and things. Another one, it's a former employee, graduate software engineer in Chatham, England, doesn't recommend, neutral outlook, approves of CEO. So the CEO seems to be quite well liked. He worked at Dovetail Games full-time for more than a year. Pros are interesting projects, mostly friendly people, excellent mentorship for junior members, good first job in the games industry, given a perspective of what to expect in future jobs. So some nice pros in there. So even though there are difficulties, actually some of it is pretty good going. Excellent mentorship for junior members. That I like. I like the sound of that, and I like the fact that Dovetail are going to seem to be relatively well known for that at the moment, and mostly friendly people. I mean, with the likes of Matt P working there, it's not going to be. He's a very friendly bloke, isn't he? Cons: no room for growth. It feels like people are given raises as a last resort to prevent them from leaving. When not under threat, the process involves lots of meetings over the course of at least a few months. There is no mandatory overtime, but deadlines do need to be met on time. Cons again, very bad location, a big emphasis on marketing, sacrificing the quality of the product. No or very little communication between the marketing and developers, resulting in "but we promised" situations, resulting in more work for devs, sometimes with the same deadlines. We've seen this. We have seen this. Development methods and techniques, as well as project planning methods, are very outdated. This doesn't work with being next gen, in quotation marks there. And then the advice to management, it says, modernise your approach to employees, relocate to a best location. There isn't much to do in Chatham. Support employees' growth, both personal and professional. The games industry isn't what it used to be 10 plus years ago. Don't avoid difficult questions. Your employers are not the press. So it sounds like their employees, there is this speaking out thing, does seem to be cropping up a little bit, doesn't it? So to me, that is kind of what we see from Dovetail Games, isn't it? You can ask them questions and you either get a very flaky response or it just gets deleted in case of DTG Twitch streams. So there is another one to read through. Current employee is anonymous, doesn't recommend them, negative outlook and no opinion of the CEO. He's been working with Dovetail Games full-time for more than a year. Pros: standards at 8 hours per day, including a 30-minute lunch break. You can start at 8 and leave at 4. Comfortable workspace, chairs could be better though. Interesting products, cross-platform development. It can be easy to get the first job in the industry, as they usually have junior positions available on their website. So very nice. All right, again, it looks like starting out, that's fine. And this, to me, is in my head works as quite a good business model, isn't it? Get new, fresh people in to work on these products that you can churn out in the Dovetail flywheel. They're never going to be short of devs, aren't they, really? Cons: unlike in other game companies, there is no incentives to work here. Regular voluntary overtime, while the company says less crunch than the industry standard. Very poor project management, which ends up in releasing unpolished products. No career plan progression. Some salaries can be slightly above the minimum wage, which becomes an issue with no career progression. So just above minimum wage, it's quite strange. Lots of wannabe managers and chiefs. Less workers means nothing will be finished in time. Unqualified people won't be fired, instead they'll be given a different position. Sometimes HQ mentality towards the office in Scotland. Useless weekly meetings, less informative. Not a great office location. Looks nice but no quality of life when you live nearby. Advice to management, it says here. Take action against poor development. Get rid of chiefs. You have more seniors and VPs than regulars. A reality check might be handy. Get rid of content creators that don't deliver. Get rid of project managers who have no clue about project management. Hire only juniors and seniors. Current mid-level programmers, people are homegrown and self-educated. They teach the junior stuff far away from industry standards. So the guys that they've got in there is basically what they're saying is, he's saying is the mentorship that they get is very different to what other industries give. Now that doesn't say it's good or bad, but it does say here that because they're homegrown, self-educated people, they teach junior stuff far away from the industry standards, which I can't think is a good thing for career progression or anything, but it still is the way they want it done, I suppose. If you wanted to be a big player, you have to look at benefits and incentive companies outside the UK offer. Request honest feedback from your employees, not what you expect to hear from them. Identify and get rid of bottlenecks in the business shape. Okay, so that's pretty clear. That's pretty clear. So Paul Jackson gets a relatively decent write-up, doesn't he? Yeah. Okay, so what does that tell me? What this basically tells me is that whilst DTG seem like a pretty good company to work for, to a point, it's pretty old school in the way they do things. The conveyor belt attitude is on purpose. The dovetail flywheel, which I love that term, it seems to be, and that's what they want to do. So they do want to just churn stuff out. They don't want to get everything right. If it's good enough, it gets out. They want to be the #1 simulation company. They could be. They definitely could be. There's no other real big players out there at the minute that are doing. There's no big players doing train simulation. I mean, there is in the flight sim world stuff, but and I mean flight sim world as in the world of flight simulators, not flight sim world as in DTG's product. There are other companies out there doing flight sim stuff. Lamina, Lockheed Martin with Prepared 3D. So there's people out there doing this. With the train sim stuff, they've got a monopoly. They have what they have. There's nobody else doing train sim. So it's kind of, we haven't got anywhere else to turn. And I don't like being treated like that, really. Because they're the only person doing it means that you're just going to have to suck it up. We do have to suck it up, and I do suck it up. I don't like the fact that I have to suck it up. And to know that that is a conscious decision, a business choice, a business plan. Not particularly ethical, is it? Ethical, probably not the right word. Moral. And it sounds like there are people within DTG who really do want to get it right, which I've never said there isn't. There is always people that I've found within DTG that get lots of things right and do a very good job and want the best for us and best for the sim. Does it sound like management want that? No. No. It sounds like management want to make as much money, which is what managers really should do. But at the same time, you've got to have customers. But they don't have to worry about that, do they? Because there isn't anywhere else to go. So realistically, do we count? They know we're going to buy it anyway. And I mean, I take all these things with a pinch of salt. Because I mean, if I looked at some of the exit interviews from people that have left my place of employment, that say similar things and things that weren't true, disgruntled employees will always leave a bad review. I mean, I don't think any one of those was at any point a scathing review on DTG, and I don't think there was any massively disgruntled employees in those reviews, because if there was, there would be probably a lot worse written. So I take them as pretty fair. They seem pretty fairly written, pretty level-headed written. Make of it as you wish. Make of it as you wish. Me, I just feel like they could have... they know what they're doing. The worrying bit is not listening to employees. Or avoiding difficult questions by employees. Now, that thing we can say, because we know DTG do this. They do avoid difficult questions. And the fact of their marketing team not speaking to their development team, we know that as well. We've seen the outcomes of that. Releasing things early, slipping up and putting stuff out on social media that isn't ready, changing release dates so they're further ahead than behind. I can't think of the last DTG product that was delayed. In fact, has there been? Train Sim World, probably. Wasn't the beta delayed for a bit? I'm sure it was. Anyway, onto the scenario. Harriet Loop, of course you guys know I absolutely adore the Harriet Loop. It is lovely, it's a really pretty road. I was talking to somebody on the stream about this earlier, and people going, he was saying about the Harriet Loop and how it's the best route and train simulator, da da da. And I was saying, yeah, it's incredibly decent. It is one of my favourites. But putting something like this in Train Sim World, it's about getting the route right, and that's what makes this route special to me, is that they've got it right. They've taken the time and effort to put in little detail and make sure everything looks nice and right and correct. With Train Sim World, you've not got a large enough asset database at the minute to be able to make things look fresh and not repetitive. It's a bit like going back to Kuju with the rail simulator days and every route looking like a Kuju route. The only thing that was actually different was the position of the track. The assets were the same, the stations were the same, the buildings were the same, the bridges were the same, the lamp posts were the same. There wasn't the catalogue there of assets to use. Part of me really worrying about the lack of development tools for Train Sim World is that we're not seeing masses of new assets being introduced into routes that we're using. Again, make of that what you will, which is understandable. It costs a lot of money. Word on the grapevine is that Just Train spent about, I think it was like ridiculous, 20 grand or something on creating new assets for their upcoming routes, and the Valley Corridor showed off some of those, and some of them are beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Let's give it some beans, eh? Doesn't help that I've been running with some brake on for the last God knows how long. You've all been sitting there going, "Oh, you've got the brake on." And I'll be going, blah, 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 Dovetail Games, blah, 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 Dovetail Games, blah, 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 Just Trains. I think we just have to remember that for train simulation at the moment, the future's bright. We have some cracking upcoming routes, and I can't wait to tell you about something else I know about as well, which is amazing. And as soon as I can tell you, I will. But what I strongly suggest that you guys do is Sunday the 24th of June stream. I would tune in for that one. I keep saying tune in. Can't tune in to Twitch, can you? Log in. Stream, watch, click. Whatever you want to call it. Should be red. I did actually stream this scenario, but I can't remember doing it. I remember I enjoyed it. I can't remember which bit's what. Oh, if I remember right, there's a 158 that's going to come across us. What I'm going to do, just for the sheer fact that you guys don't be waiting, is use a little drop of async keys just to speed this up. And let me just double check there is something there. I don't remember Dom saying that I had to tab anything. Yeah. Is there something else as well? There must be. Speed her up again. I've got 5 miles to go. It's a nice little journey, this. Leeds to Harrogate. It's a nice little run. There's no real messing around with it. There we go. Let's give it some amps, look. I actually really like the Tour de France 158 livery, the yellow one. I think BH Reskins did it. I'd like to see that updated for the Perkins pack. That would be lovely. Try and stop the pinging. So Funky, also known as Dom, is a lovely bloke whose scenario stuff he's pretty quick actually. He's been doing sort of 3 or 4. He's also making a new route, which I won't go into in this video. I will go into it in another video, with a lot of help from Speedy Pete of the XC route fame. So these sort of new routes are sort of really good, but also we're getting a lot of routes being upgraded. So I know that Chris Horsfield at the moment is going through the Edinburgh-Glasgow route. That's getting an overhaul. He did start a little while ago, but he's started afresh, and it's going to be nice. It's not going to be massively scenery different, but there'll be stop markers and everything will be sorted, portals, everything added, so it should run brilliantly. I mean, it already runs very smoothly FPS wise, but for scenario making it'll be easier, and the scenarios will be able to be more complex, which is a great thing as well. Of course, we've got the updated Portsmouth direct line, and the news on that is the Master Key Simulations are working on the stock that comes with it, apart from the 455 and 377, I think. So it's a 450 and a 444, if I remember rightly. should have been down at 20 for that. That's pretty nice, isn't it? It's unbelievably hot. It is a roasting Sunday. Father's Day of all things. Happy Father's Day as well to all of you fathers out there. So 57, while we're on about it, is a UV product, isn't it? So this was made by quite a varied mix of people. That a couple of them have actually started their Extravis games. They're doing the 323 and the Birmingham Cross City route. Let's turn those lights off, or else Albie will be a bit peeved. Seem to get him to actually, there we go, off. Alright then guys, thanks ever so much for watching. Just a quick one and a bit of info about DTG there for you. Please remember to like, share and subscribe. It does make a big difference to me. Also heading over to the Facebook page for a bit of a laugh and a bit of a chat about trains, any tech support questions. There's plenty of knowledgeable people over there. Also remember to come join me on a Wednesday at 7 o'clock or a Sunday at 7 o'clock. That's PM 1900 through to the early hours for the live streams. They're a good crack. Very different to the YouTube videos, so I do advise that you're over 18 or at least have a very good sense of humour. And once again guys, thanks ever so much, and I'll catch you next time.